Good morning, everyone. Today we are starting with the second module of your strategic cost management self-paced module. And as compared to the first one, the second one is little lengthy. Little less lengthy. Your first one was too much as compared to the second one. So I anticipate lesser time for this to be completed. Now, your initial chapters in this second module are related to performance evaluation. They call it as strategic performance management. Earlier, it was combined under the head performance evaluation, and now they have segregated all those different concepts into 2-3 chapters. So here we go with the first one. Introduction to Strategic Performance Management. Now, you all know we have been studying strategic cost management. You have some different goals as compared to your traditional cost accounting system. Your traditional cost accounting system was little different than what we have studied now. Your traditional system was more concerned about costing, cost reporting, and mainly with cost reduction and cost control. Other aspects, other perspectives were not taken into consideration when we were studying traditional cost accounting system. But now things are a little different. Since strategic cost management is introduced, we have different goals, different goal settings, and different planning, different plans, different actions to achieve those goals. And these different plans, different actions are known as strategies. So, what exactly we do in case of strategic cost management? The most important factor is, what is strategy? Now, what is a strategy? Influence of organization, structure, culture, and strategy on performance measurement. So we are not talking about strategy now. Strategy is already discussed in the first chapter of the first module, Introduction to Strategic Cost Management. Now we are looking out for what is the impact of those strategies which we have studied in the first module. And if you really want to know the result of any strategy, it is performance measurement. If you're implementing something, you know the intention behind it. Now, we already know when we talk about strategic cost management, it is not only about earning profit, it is about customers' satisfaction, it is about supplier satisfaction, it is about employee satisfaction. Basically, we have stopped thinking about shareholders and we have started thinking about stakeholders. So it's not only the profit that we are supposed to look out for, it is overall perspective or overall goals which we need to achieve. So we have certain different measures of performance evaluation. We will study all those measures one by one. Now, the first part of this chapter is performance management and its link to strategy. Now, what is a strategy? It's a pattern of activities which seek to achieve the objectives of the organization. So patterns to achieve objectives, adapt its core source, resource, and operation to environmental changes in long term. Of course, when we plan some strategies, the strategies are for goal setting, and we all know that goal setting will never be a short-term goal setting. It will always be a long-term goal setting. Long-term perspective is something that we always focus on. So basically, these are competitive position, deliberately choosing a different set of activity to deliver unique mix of values. Both these definitions are given by different people. Well, that's fine. Peter Drucker says the first one, and Michael Porter, another management guru, says something. So, but ultimately, the objective is the core content of both the definitions is same. Like they have given you some example. Parle G from Parle Agro knows the customer base is price sensitive. Hence, rather than increasing pricing, they are reducing the quantity of packs. The same thing has happened with Halls. They have not increased the price, but they have reduced the quantity. वो गोली का साइज छोटा कर दिया है, बिस्किट्स का साइज छोटा कर दिया है, because they don't want to increase the price. In economic terms, this is called shrinkflation. Shrinkflation. You shrink the quantity, you reduce the quantity, and charge the same price, which is generally used by FMCGs to be there in the market. With this, they think that they will be able to maintain its revenue and margin. Parle G is one example, Halls is another example. In fact, all these toffees and chocolates, they have started implementing the same thing. So, what is performance management? Performance management is the most important aspect for management accounting, where you're supposed to determine the structure of the organization, responsibility centers and responsibility assignment, fixing yardsticks, like creating standards, what these managers should be achieving, and finally review. So first one is determining the appropriate organizational structure. So the first thing is structure. Second one is responsibility. Third one is yardstick. And the fourth one is review. So if you want to implement this, you first know the structure. See, you are going to implement management objective, or you are going to implement these strategies throughout your organization. If you're going to introduce them throughout your organization, you should know the organizational structure. All hierarchies, horizontal, vertical, diagonal, everything you should be aware of, so that you can fix up responsibility center. Like purchase is a responsibility of procurement manager, but production is a responsibility of production manager. And even during production, workers assignment is a requirement, is a responsibility of HR manager. You can't hold other people responsible for that. So if your quantity consumed, listen to me carefully, open your nose and listen to me. If your quantity to be consumed, or rather your quantity actually consumed is lesser than what it actually should have been. If your quantity to be consumed is lesser than what it actually should have been, it's a favorable variance, and production manager will be responsible for it. If your actual quantity is more than what actually it should have been, then again, it's an adverse variance, but it is a responsibility of production manager again. But if workers are paid at a higher rate or lower rate, then the responsibility is directly related to HR managers. So responsibility centers and responsibility of managers must be predetermined so that we can catch the right person once you get variation. Then you set a standard so that there will be some benchmarks, there will be some yardstick which can be used as a basis of comparison. And finally, review. Okay, so basically it will help you out in order to find out how well you are achieving your goals and objective, and it can also identify the need of improvement. Like as I told you, even if there is a favorable variance, I will still find out the reason for that, so that once I know the reason for favorable variance, and if it is abnormal, I'll skip that. But if it is normal, then I will reduce my standard. अगर मुझे पता चलता है कि 40 आवर्स का काम 35 आवर्स में खत्म किया है, and if I find out कि 35 आवर्स में वैसे भी हो सकता है, then why should I be keeping a yardstick of 40 hours? I will give them standard of 35 hours to complete the work. So that calls for an improvement in the yardstick. That calls for improvement in the system. अगर मुझे लगता है कि 40 आवर्स का काम 45 आवर्स में खत्म किया है, and this is normal, 40 hours may actually not possible. Okay, then I'll revise my standard from 40 hours to 45 hours. अब labor cost बढ़ने वाली है, तो I can implement some cost reduction technique in material, in direct expenses, in admin overheads, in selling and distribution. I can do something whereby my overall cost is reduced. So basically, we all work towards increasing the performance of the organization. Now, how do we interlink performance management and strategies? Performance management, when you talk about, you are having information about organizational structure, you have information about responsibility centers and responsibility related to each and every manager. You also have strategy of comparison, you know the yardstick, you know the standard set, and then you have a control system of giving you reports based on variation in the cost structure. Now, if you have this kind of a system, you are capable of implementing what you have planned, so that ultimately your growth or your goal is achieved in all the parameters you have set. मतलब मैं अगर ये चाह रहा हूं कि मेरा प्रॉफिट बढ़े, मैं अगर ये चाहता हूं कि मेरा प्रॉफिट बढ़े, हाउ इज इट पॉसिबल? मेरा प्रॉफिट बढ़ने के लिए मेरे कॉस्ट का कम होना जरूरी है, मेरे सेल्स का ज्यादा होना जरूरी है. सेल्स में भी सेलिंग प्राइस को चेंज करके या क्वांटिटी को बढ़ा के पॉसिबिलिटी है. कॉस्ट में क्वांटिटी कंजम्पशन कम होना चाहिए, आवर्स की रिक्वायरमेंट, आवर्स यूटिलाइज्ड कम होना चाहिए, रेट्स कम होने चाहिए. सो देयर आर सो मेनी अदर फैक्टर्स. सो when you know the strategy, when you know hierarchy, when you know the detailed organizational structure, when you already have your responsibility center set, it becomes very easy for you to implement performance goal achievement activities. See, they have given you example. Tools used for measurement and performance includes balance scorecard, performance pyramid. We'll discuss that later. Both these models keep strategy either as focal point or as starting point. So that calls for another discussion. This is balance scorecard. Now, balance scorecard has got 4 different aspects. See, balance scorecard is used to evaluate performance of the organization. And as I said, if you are talking about performance evaluation of an organization, you are not supposed to be bothered about only shareholders. You are interested in stakeholders. Now, stakeholders, when I talk about, it includes suppliers, it includes customers, it includes employees, it includes your shareholders, finances, everyone. Every human associated with your business is taken care of. So balanced scorecard is a device which takes care, which is a system that takes care of all different wider aspects, related to performance of a company. लाइक पहले क्या होता था, सिर्फ जिसका प्रॉफिट अच्छा वो अच्छा, बट अब ऐसा नहीं है कि सोशल फैक्टर्स, अदर फैक्टर्स, इकोनॉमिकल फैक्टर्स भी कंसीडर किए जाते हैं. तो बैलेंस स्कोर कार्ड सबसे पहले कंसीडर करता है फाइनेंशियल मैटर, फाइनेंशियल एस्पेक्ट. नाउ फाइनेंशियल एस्पेक्ट्स में अभी तुम लोग को पहले से पता है, एक प्रॉफिट सेट किया जाएगा. एक प्रॉफिट सेट किया जाएगा. You will try to achieve that profit. If you achieve that profit, that's fine. If you can't achieve that profit, that means there is something wrong. So I'll zoom this. You set the objective, measure it, achieved, not achieved, and then initiatives. I mean, the reasons, evaluation, and all that. But we don't stop here in balanced scorecard. Balanced scorecard further evaluates second aspect, customer. Satisfaction of the customer, repeat value of the customer also makes a huge difference. So I'm not stopping only at my financial profit. I'm also evaluating to what extent my customer is happy. My customer will be happy when he gets the quality he expects. My customer is happy when he gets something complementary along with my product. My customer is happy when his grievances are handled properly. My customer is happy when after sales service is done properly. My customer is happy when the delivery of goods is on time. So after financial aspect, you also talk about customer aspect. Then there is third aspect, which is very important, internal business processes. Now, internal business processes means what changes you are supposed to make within your organization to achieve your goals faster. To achieve your goals faster. फिर दो प्रोसेस का एक प्रोसेस करना है, एक प्रोसेस का दो प्रोसेस करना है, एक प्रोसेस को स्किप करना है. Okay, all these decisions can be taken in terms of internal business processes. I make club inspection rounds. Like for example, after every batch there is an inspection process. Instead of that, I may take a decision that after 3 batches there can be inspection process because my rejection rate is very less. So I know my machines are so capable of, my machines and workers are very much capable of giving me the most accurate production. Instead of having inspection phase after each, after each batch, I may choose that after 3 batches inspection will be carried on and my cost of inspection will be 1/3. पहले एक बैच के बाद इंस्पेक्शन कॉस्ट आती थी, अब 3 बैच के बाद आती है, मतलब 1/3 हो जाएगी सिर्फ. So I need to change my internal processes. And finally, learning and growth. This is the most important aspect. This is the most important aspect. Learning and growth. Training to employees, increasing their capabilities, increasing their productivity, efficiency. Acha, to increase their efficiency, the major reason is your machines are not maintained properly. Okay, then find out why servicing is not done properly, change that structure of maintaining the machine. So it comes to internal business processes again. So learning and growth is training and upgrading your manpower, training and upgrading your system so that the better performance can be generated. So that is your balance scorecard. Just have a glance on it quickly, all four aspects. All right, आगे बढ़ते हैं. So this was your balance scorecard where you take care of financial, customer, internal processes, and learning and growth aspects. The second concept is performance pyramid. The second concept is performance pyramid, and performance pyramid I would like you to understand on a real time basis. Real time basis मतलब सीधा इसमें से नहीं पढ़ेंगे, मैं तुम लोग को ड्रॉ करके दिखाता हूं. See, चलो, आपको दो चीजों में सफलता चाहिए. दो चीजों में आपको सफलता चाहिए. एक तो एक्सटर्नल और दूसरी इंटरनल. बराबर. अब एक्सटर्नल सफलता मतलब इट इज रिलेटेड टू मार्केट, कस्टमर. और इंटरनल सफलता मतलब इट इज योर ओन इंडिविजुअल प्रोसेसेस एंड ऑल दैट. तो ऐसा है ऐसा है कि एक्सटर्नल सक्सेस के लिए यू शुड बी कंसर्न अबाउट क्वालिटी ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट, कस्टमर की डिजायर्ड क्वालिटी उसको मिल जाए, कस्टमर हैप्पी। मैं ये नहीं कहता कि यू हैव टू डिलीवर बेस्ट क्वालिटी ऑलवेज, यू हैव टू डिलीवर एक्सपेक्टेड क्वालिटी। दोनों में फर्क है। आप आईफोन लेते हो तो योर एक्सपेक्टेशन अबाउट क्वालिटी इज डिफरेंट, जब आप वीवो लेते हो तो आपका एक्सपेक्टेशन अबाउट क्वालिटी इज डिफरेंट। If I'm buying Ertiga, Maruti Ertiga, I will not expect the pickup of Fortuner in that. I hope you're understanding this. So satisfying need or satisfying expectation, conformance to the customer's expectation is quality. Whatever quality the customer expected out of you, that has to be delivered. And secondly, delivery of goods on time is another aspect which you need to talk about. You should excel in this. अगर आप quality or delivery, if you take care of quality and delivery aspects, your external satisfaction part is taken care of. Your customer will never leave you. तो फिर इंटरनल में क्या आता है? इंटरनल में आएगा साइकिल टाइम। साइकिल टाइम मींस टाइम टेकन टू प्रोड्यूस वन यूनिट। हमने कल ही वैल्यू एडेड प्लस नॉन वैल्यू एडेड का कैलकुलेशन देखा था। एक क्वेश्चन में कुछ 37.5% टाइम ही प्रोडक्टिव है, बाकी तो नॉन वैल्यू एडेड था। तो इसके चक्कर में ज्यादा टाइम लग रहा था, तो नॉन वैल्यू एडेड टाइम रिड्यूस करना चाहिए, इज व्हाट द कंक्लूजन वाज, राइट? तो reduce your cycle time, reduce your time required for each unit so that more and more units can be produced and sold during the same span of time. And the second important aspects related to internal aspect is wastage. So your wastage should be minimum. Second important aspect is wastage. Your wastage should be minimum. अब wastage minimum होगा तो naturally you save a lot of money in that because your resources are saved. So you can apply lean system. I hope you recollect, to avoid all these waste. So basically, if you focus on first two, your external goals are achieved. If you focus on next two, your internal goals are achieved. Now, what do you get out of this? What do you get out of this? 4 aspects. Out of these 4 aspects, if I implement all 4, the first thing I get is customer satisfaction. The first thing I get is customer satisfaction, and if my customer is happy, you know the advantage of it. Second one is flexibility. Since I have complete control over the production process, since I have a complete control over time required for each unit and the wastage which is generated in the production process, I have lot of flexibility available. Plus I have a control over delivery. जिसका प्रोडक्शन और डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन दोनों पे कंट्रोल है, उसके लिए फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी विल नॉट बी अ प्रॉब्लम। अचानक से 100 यूनिट्स का ऑर्डर आया, स्टॉक में पड़ा है तो डिलीवर कर दो, स्टॉक में नहीं पड़ा है तो प्रोड्यूस करके डिलीवर कर दो, वोंट बी अ प्रॉब्लम। आपको पता है मारुति सुजुकी के साथ क्या हुआ था? अर्टिगा का डिमांड इतना बढ़ गया मार्केट में, द डिमांड वाज सो हाई कि वेटिंग पीरियड 1.5 ईयर्स तक पहुंच गया। अब किसी भी बजट कार के लिए पब्लिक 1.5 ईयर्स रुकेगा, इसकी कोई गारंटी नहीं है। सो अर्लियर अर्टिगा का एक प्रीमियम वर्जन निकाला था उन्होंने, एक्सेल 6। दिस वाज सोल्ड अंडर मारुति ब्रांड एंड दिस वाज सोल्ड अंडर नेक्सा ब्रांड। नेक्सा भी मारुति का ही है, बट इट इज कंसिडर्ड टू बी अ प्रीमियम ब्रांड। तो अर्टिगा वाज सोल्ड बाय sold under the normal brand name, but XL6 was sold under premium brand name. So Ertiga had CNG option. Ertiga had CNG option. XL6 did not have CNG option. Ertiga had CNG option. XL6 never had CNG option. बॉस बजट कार है ही नहीं, प्रीमियम कार है, तो फ्यूल के बारे में कौन सोचता है? तो XL6 नेवर हैड अ CNG ऑप्शन. लेकिन अर्टिगा का डिमांड जैसे ही 1.5 इयर्स 2 इयर्स तक पहुंचने लगा, दे इंट्रोड्यूस्ड CNG वर्जन ऑफ XL6 कि चल अर्टिगा नहीं तो XL6 खरीद, लेकिन फायदा तो मेरा ही होगा. Now that is possible when you have a control over your production system, plus you have a control over your delivery system. That gives you flexibility. I hope you guys understood the example very well. You can verify all these examples. And after this, the one more goal achieved is productivity. अब यार naturally तुम लोग का cycle time ही कम हो गया, मतलब productivity तो increase हो गई ना. Earlier you were supposed to consume 20, now you are consuming only 18, so your productivity is high. Earlier you were taking 7 hours to produce a product, now you can do it in 6.5 hours, so that is also considered as efficiency. So basically when this happens, when you have a control over customer satisfaction, when you have a control over flexibility, when you have a control over productivity, basically you're quite close. Your market targets are achieved. That's what Maruti has done. कि चल भाई प्रीमियम ब्रांड है, गया तेल लेने, प्रीमियम ब्रांड में भी CNG निकाल, जिसको अर्टिगा नहीं खरीदनी वो XL6 खरीद लेगा. But my customer should not go to my competitor. So market capturing is one thing, and the second important aspect is financial. अब यार मार्केट कैप्चर कर लिया मतलब सेल्स बुक हो गया तुम लोग का. मार्केट कैप्चर कर लिया मतलब सेल्स इज बुक्ड. सेल्स आपने बुक कर दिया, सेल्स बढ़ गया. मार्केट कैप्चर का मतलब प्रोडक्ट ए नहीं बिक रहा है तो प्रोडक्ट सी बेच दे, प्रोडक्ट सी नहीं बिक रहा है तो प्रोडक्ट डी बेच दे. तो naturally your financial goals are also achieved, and that's your corporate vision, and that's your corporate vision. अब अगर तुम लोग ऊपर से नीचे आओगे तो तुम लोग को दिखाई देंगे ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, और नीचे से ऊपर जाओगे तो तुमको पता चलेगा मेजर्स. हमने स्टार्ट किया मेजर्स से. मुझे एक्सटर्नल सुप्रीमसी और इंटरनल सुप्रीमसी चाहिए. ओके, क्वालिटी सुधारो, डिलीवरी पे ध्यान दो. इंटरनल के लिए प्रोडक्शन टाइम सुधारो, वेस्टेज कम करो. ओके, अगर मैंने क्वालिटी, डिलीवरी, साइकिल टाइम, प्रोडक्शन टाइम और वेस्टेज सब कंट्रोल कर दिया, कस्टमर खुश, देयर इज अ फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी ऑन माय साइड, माय प्रोडक्टिविटी टारगेट इज अचीव्ड. अगर मैंने ये कर लिया तो मार्केट पूरा मेरे जेब में, पैसा पूरा मेरी जेब में, विच इज माय कॉर्पोरेट विजन. तो मेरा ऑब्जेक्टिव वही तो था ना, मार्केट को काबू करना एंड फाइनेंशियल ग्रोथ. तो मार्केट के लिए कस्टमर सेटिस्फैक्शन जरूरी है, मेरे लिए कस्टमर को सेटिस्फाई करने के लिए फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी जरूरी है, और उसके लिए मेरे को प्रोडक्टिविटी पे कंट्रोल होना चाहिए. ओके, अब मैं क्या करूं कस्टमर सेटिस्फैक्शन और फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी के लिए? तो भाई क्वालिटी संभाल, डिलीवरी संभाल. और प्रोडक्टिविटी के लिए प्रोडक्शन टाइम कम कर, वेस्टेज कम कर। अच्छा, ये अगर कर लिया तो मेरा एक्सटर्नल ऑब्जेक्टिव और मेरा इंटरनल ऑब्जेक्टिव फुलफिल हो जाएगा। तो ऊपर से नीचे आए तुम लोग, ऊपर से नीचे आए तुम लोग, ऊपर से अगर नीचे आए तो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, नीचे से ऊपर गए तो नीचे से ऊपर गए तो मेजर्स। इसीलिए इसको कहते हैं पिरामिड। हैव यू अंडरस्टूड दिस? एकदम क्लियर है? चलो, हैव अ ग्लांस ऑन दिस। चलिए आगे बढ़ते। Now we'll go to the next concept, role of performance management in business integration using models such as value chain and McKinsey's 7S. Value chain we have already discussed, guys, if you recollect in one of the previous chapters, but then still I'll be discussing it once again. Okay. So we basically focus on business integration. Now, business integration brings all aspects of business in alignment so that business objectives can be achieved. Basically, it consists of effective implementation of strategies and efficient use of available set of resources. Resources available with businesses are usually scarce in nature. Hence, importance of business integration multifold. What are four major factors, major areas? People. When you talk about people, it includes suppliers, customers, employees, everything. Then your processes, your strategies towards achieving goal, and the technology that you're using. I can give you one simple example. If you take example of a corporate, or if you take example of a bank, satisfaction of customer, motivation for employees are the two major factors if you talk about people. That depends on operations. That depends on the workload that you have been giving. Like for example, State Bank of India. If you take example of State Bank of India, they are always scarce of staff. So you'll find one person doing people doing job of three people. It happens. So that will not motivate the worker. So strategies and technologies will also matter. Like the technology that HDFC has, another banks has. There can be a difference. So we need to evaluate value chain. Value chain means all aspects related to your business. The first one is inbound logistics. Inbound logistics is majorly concerned with suppliers. Inbound logistics is mainly concerned with suppliers. Input. Then you will have a special evaluation of the operations which you carry on. Outbound logistics means how the production is done, how it is managed, marketing and sales, distribution, and finally, what do you do for after sales? So see, inbound logistics covers receiving, storing, handling, raw material input. Operations means how effectively you can convert raw material into finished goods. Outbound logistics covers storing, distributing, delivering finished goods to timely distribution of finished goods. Marketing and sales, you know already what marketing and sales does. It is basically market research and promotion and all that. And after sales service means what do you do? What do you offer them? Installation, training, repairs, everything. So these are the 5 areas which we are supposed to look out for. Just quickly have a glance on practical insight here. You will get better idea. We have discussed everything in one of the previous chapters, but still have a glance on this green and this green bracket. Then we'll be starting with the next part. Now, how do we implement it? So your value chain analysis is done in two different ways. And once you are done with value chain analysis, you can actually grow in the market by implementing two things. One is cost leadership, keeping your cost minimized, and your second one is product differentiation. This is what I have discussed in my first chapter. Critical success factor. CSF is critical success factor, beta. Critical success factor means something that you have been achieving. What do you want to achieve is critical success factor. And key performance indicator is how you're going to achieve. Like clearing CA final in the first attempt is a critical success factor for us. And what is key performance indicator? How much you're studying every day, how many subjects you're covering every month is a key performance indicator. If you are covering more and more subjects, if you are covering something every week, that means you're on a right track. Dekho, how organization uses value chain gain and sustain competitive advantage. Classification of value added and non-value added activities, same thing what we have discussed earlier. Value added and non-value added. Value added is an activity where you actually transform raw material into finished goods. And non-value added activity is ancillary or incidental to the value added activity, which can be distribution, which can be waiting time, which can be moving of material, which can be cleaning of machine, which can be setup time, anything. Where there is a transformation, even polishing will be considered as value added because something new is transformed, something new has been brought into existence. Non-value added activities, जितना minimum उतना better. बस वही उन्होंने वापस बोला है. इनके examples देखो. Employing organic farming technical as a part of agribusiness can fall under this category. Farming is a necessary activity and organic farming can be improved. Can be an improved way of doing it. It is expensive currently, hence must justify its application. Four categories of value-added system. When the activity is required to produce the product or improve, and the activity cannot be a cost justification basis, be improved, simplified and reduced. मतलब कुछ कभी बार होता ना कि we don't see look at the money factor. करना है तो करना है. We have to do it. Second one is an activity that is required to produce the product and to improve the process. This is focusing completely on the improvement. मतलब जैसे तुम लोग को आज पान वाले के सब्जी वाले के पास भी QR कोड मिल जाएगा. Because they don't want to lose money. ऑटो वाले के पास में मिल जाता है. An activity that is not required to produce the product to improve the process, and the activity that can be eventually be eliminated by changing process. This is non-value added activity. जैसा मैंने कहा ना आपको, एक बैच के बाद इंस्पेक्शन के बाद बदले 3 बैच के बाद इंस्पेक्शन करूंगा तो भी मेरा काम हो जाएगा. An activity which is not required to produce the product or improve, but activity which can be eliminated in the short run by changing the process. So that was about value added and non-value added. We have discussed that already in detail. So let's not focus on that. Let's focus on the next part, which is very important. Understanding value chain in terms of performance management. See, how do we do it? First, you identify your driver activities. And then you consolidate all those drivers and segregate them into 2 different parts. And I'll show you. Wait. See, structural drivers and executional drivers. This is what I was referring to. Structural drivers and executional drivers. Structural drivers are focusing on the factors affecting the products, and executional drivers are those which are an outcome of policies and procedures. मतलब मेरा setup time, मेरा delivery time, ये सब यहाँ पे आएगा executional में, but then my inspection or my even in terms of production, if there is a setup after every batch produced, it can be classified even here. Got it? So now the most important part, market as an important one. Market as an important one. McKinsey's 7S. Now, basically, it talks about all the subsystems towards achieving the goal. Okay, and that includes strategy, structure, systems. You have a strategy. Okay, profit maximization is your goal. You will have a strategy for that. Before you make the strategy, you should know the structure of the organization, so that different hierarchy you should be knowing, and responsibility centers can be found out, and responsibility can be placed on each and every manager separately. Then you create a system whereby some yardstick, some benchmark is set, some standard is set, and actually is getting compared with the standard in order to know whether there is any deviation. That can be done through staff. So staff will be one more requirement. Then we have style, the manner in which it is done, and finally the use of skills. Let's go for all S evaluation. Strategies, it's a plan or a method to achieve its goals. Basically, they will give you competitive advantage over the other firms. What is our pre-requirement? Clearly articulated. Long-term orientation. It will help you to achieve competitive advantage, reinforced by strong mission and vision and values. Like they are talking about Apple iPhone. The major factor is differentiation. Strategy of a hospital can be cost effective, while the other hospital can be a treatment under one roof, single roof. Coaching class, individual subject will have one market. All subjects under one roof will have another market. Pure veg restaurant is another market strategy, because there is a community, there are people who don't prefer to go to a restaurant where veg, non-veg both are served. Even if they say that there are different kitchens, people don't prefer that. So simply emphasize on that, pure veg restaurant. So basically you create an environment where people will start believing in you that your product is different from others, that your products are different from others. Like, and you can take few more examples like cars. Like Maruti focuses only on budget, pricing. But then Tata is focusing on safety. So that actually helps you out in getting the product differentiation advantage. Then how do you decide a structure? You should have your own organizational structure, hierarchy, like dean, then directors, then you have HODs of respective departments, then senior doctors, then hospital होगा तो ये होगा, otherwise CEO और MD के नीचे directors के नीचे general managers के बाद divisional managers, branch manager, can be different hierarchies. Why do we know the structure? To create a link. Always remember, you will get better results if the entire organization is linked up properly. To group together the task required to fulfill organization's objective as a whole. Allocate people to sustainable individual and groups. Allocate authority to the suitable individual and groups. Like, for example, if I have surplus employees in one department and they are capable of doing something else, I will shift them from one segment to another. Like, I have a faculty who's a fantastic faculty for a particular subject. Now his subject is being removed from inter-CA. What subject is still there in CS. I will shift that faculty from CS stream to CS stream. To coordinate objectives and activities of separate units. Enable the flow of work, information, and the other resources. Okay. Look at the structure. Types of organizational structure. Entrepreneurial structure, line, functional, divisional, matrix, project, and network. Entrepreneurial, as I discussed earlier. See, entrepreneurial matlab dictatorship, autocratic way. One person will take the decisions, other will follow. At the most, you can suggest them, like what happens in sole proprietary concerns. One person takes a decision. He only plans, he only makes the strategy, he only implements it. Line structure is this, corporate structure. Board of directors have managing director, then marketing manager, production manager, finance manager, their respective authorities, their respective responsibilities. Acha, production manager may have works manager under him who is taking care of factory. Then you have foreman. Foreman is a senior supervisor who is not designated as a supervisor, but senior most worker who has a great knowledge, experience. Then you have supervisors, you have workmen. Similarly, even for marketing manager, there can be a team, there can be a marketing manager, marketing divisional manager. Then you may have a salesman under you. Functional means allocation done on the basis of different functions. You have board of directors, you have CEO appointed by them, and the classification is functional classification. Sales and marketing, production, human resource, finance, research and development, purchase, procurement. Purchase manager is responsible. Then you have production manager responsible here. He's the one who's supposed to hire best quality of workers of best quality at a reasonable rates. Divisional means like Samsung, mobile division, television division, music system division, headphone division. There can be different divisions and peripherals. go on the basis of divisions, and divisions will have further evaluation like production, admin, marketing, and so on. समझ में आ रहा है? जैसे यहाँ पे इन्होंने एग्जांपल दिया गारमेंट एंड फुटवेयर. गारमेंट एंड फुटवेयर एक ही कंपनी दोनों बना रही है, तो गारमेंट एंड फुटवेयर कैन बी द डिविजनल क्लासिफिकेशन. मैंने आपको एग्जांपल दिया सैमसंग का, जिसमें मोबाइल, टीवी, म्यूजिक सिस्टम, रेफ्रिजरेटर, वॉशिंग मशीन, there are so many divisions possible. और हर एक डिवीजन में you will have production manager, finance manager who will be taking care of that division only. And they will be reporting it to the concerned head, and the head of that division must be reporting it to the director. Then you have a matrix organization. Matrix organization means it superimposes a horizontal set of divisional reporting relationship into hierarchical functional structure. So it has both. It has characteristics of both. Like for example, if you see here, chief executive has got 3 parts. You have functional manager, you have functional manager, and you have functional manager in all segment. But they all can work together. They can come together for a specific project, not on a permanent basis. Like for example, if I'm starting a new branch, faculty from Mumbai, faculty from Ahmedabad, faculty from Delhi may come together to complete the batch. Now, if you see the hierarchy, one is from Mumbai, the other one is from Ahmedabad, the third one is from Delhi, so there is no connection, bacha. But they can come together even if there is a different hierarchy, even if there is a different systematization. Then project organization. Based on project, allocation is done. Which project are you handling? Line and functional, what is the difference? Ye dekh beta. Line mein you may have other variations also, like marketing manager is appointed. Then you have production, and then you have finance manager. See, a supervisor exercises direct control over subordinate and authority. It is the topmost position to the lowest. And here it is a group 1. समझा? जैसे these are the functions to be implemented which are related to sales, so they will be clubbed under the head sales function. पहले मुझे आउटकम से मतलब नहीं है, मेरे लिए बेसिक फंक्शंस इंपॉर्टेंट है. और लाइन मैनेजर में इट इज अ कंप्लीट अथॉरिटी, it has to flow top to bottom. But functional में it can be internal departmentalization as well. I may take help of other people also. ये समझा? ये पढ़. In line organization, a supervisor exercises direct control over the subordinate, and authority flows from topmost position to the lowest. It is straight and vertical. Top level management takes a major decision and issues direction to actual execution. It is called military. बोला तो बोला करने का. Functional में manager takes the decision and it is reported. This type of departmentalization, in which positions are grouped according to the main functions based on their expertise, skill, and activities. Advantage of pooling: no duplication of functions, in-depth specialization. Senior managers are क्लोज टू द ऑपरेशंस, ये फंक्शनल हो गया. बेसिकली डिसीजन मेकिंग, लाइन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में यू डोंट हैव डिसीजन मेकिंग अथॉरिटी, but functional में you have, because you are the whole and soul of that active of that function. So the success and the failure of that function is completely dependent on you. Like for example, I'm a teacher. Okay, I'm not a part of JKSC management. So I'm a part of line organization. मुझे बोला ये बैच इतने आवर्स छू मैं कर लेगा. उसका टेक्स्ट बुक कब देना है, उसका टेस्ट कंडक्ट कब करना है, बच्चों का रिजल्ट क्या आ रहा है, लेक्चर्स अपलोड हुए नहीं हुए, इट्स नन ऑफ माय कंसर्न. मैं करता हूं ये अलग बात है, आई फॉलो अप वो अलग बात है, बट करना इज नॉट विद इन माय स्कोप ऑफ ड्यूटीज. बट इफ आई एम अ फंक्शनल मैनेजर, आई एम इन चार्ज ऑफ कॉस्टिंग डिवीजन, मुझे ये सारी चीजें करनी पड़ेगी वेदर आई एम टेकिंग दैट बैच और नॉट. Yeah, that's what I said. Line is autocratic and functional is delegated. प्रत्युष समझा? अभी अगर मैंने ऊपर मैसेज भेज दिया कि सर ये बैच में ये प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, देखो सीनियर हूं इसलिए वो लोग डायरेक्टली तो नहीं बोलेंगे ऐसा कि आपको किसने बोला था बीच में आने को, बट मुझे करने की अथॉरिटी एक्चुअली नहीं है. और अगर मैं कॉस्टिंग का इंचार्ज हूं तो जेकेसी में जहां भी कॉस्टिंग पढ़ाया जाता है, जिस कोने में कॉस्टिंग पढ़ाया जाता है, उस कोने में टेक्स्ट बुक पहुंचा कि नहीं, प्रोफेसर ने टाइम पे खत्म किया कि नहीं, बच्चे सेटिस्फाइड है या नहीं, ये सारी चीजों की जिम्मेदारी मेरी होगी. तो जेके सर विल बी रिलैक्स्ड. मेरा सब्जेक्ट वाइज सेटिस्फैक्शन आ रहा है, ऐसा ही एफएम में होगा, एसएफएम में होगा, ऐसे एफआर में होगा, ऐसे ही डीटी में होगा, हो गया ना पूरा फाइनल कवर. इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ द ब्रांच, सब्जेक्ट इज कवर्ड. बट लाइन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में मतलब मैं इधर बैठा हूं, मुझे क्या मालूम अहमदाबाद में क्या चल रहा है, मुझे क्या मालूम बैंगलोर में क्या चल रहा है. मेरी खुद की बैच में अगर प्रॉब्लम है तो मैं ना बोलूं तो भी यू कांट ब्लेम मी, बिकॉज इट इज नॉट माई विद इन माई ड्यूटीज. समझा? Okay, then the next concept is systems. Systems में these are processes and daily activities, मतलब जो आपको actually करना पड़ता है वो. Unless you have complete control over this, you can't actually achieve your goal. मुझे CA फाइनल में रैंक लाना है is a goal, but उसके लिए मुझे डेली पढ़ना है is a system, is a process which you have to implement on a daily basis. डरा नहीं रहा हूं, I'm just giving an example. If not on a daily basis, then at least weekly basis पे. You should be updated with whatever you have studied throughout the week. Then you have style, the manner in which things are done. And that is definitely considered as informal rules of organizations and the culture of the organization. It is a way the organization presents himself. मतलब कैसा है कि देखो अभी मैंने बोल दिया कि ये फलाने बैच में टेक्स्ट बुक नहीं पहुंचा है, जरा प्लीज लुक इनटू द मैटर. तो थिंग्स विल बी टेकन केयर ऑफ बिकॉज इट इज अ कस्टमर ओरिएंटेड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. लेकिन अगर कस्टमर, दिस इज, that's what I said, even if it is not within my duties, still being a senior faculty, my opinion will be taken for granted. My opinion, my complaint will be taken seriously. So that is a culture of the organization. लेकिन अगर ऐसा हुआ कि देखो सर आपको हायर किया है पढ़ाने के लिए, आप सिर्फ पढ़ाओ और निकलो, महीने का स्टेटमेंट सबमिट करते रहना, आपको पैसा मिलेगा। वो स्टूडेंट्स का क्या प्रॉब्लम है आपको जानने की जरूरत नहीं है, वी हैव अ सेपरेट टीम टेकिंग केयर ऑफ इट। ओके, तो दैट कैन बी वन ऑफ द, दैट कैन बी अनदर कल्चर, दैट कैन बी अनदर कल्चर। जैसे तुम लोग एचडीएफसी बैंक में जाओ तो यू गेट अ डिफरेंट ट्रीटमेंट। सिर्फ एचडीएफसी बैंक में जाके सिर्फ बोलना अकाउंट ओपन करना है और इंश्योरेंस लेना है, एकदम प्यार से घालीन लोटांगण वंदीना चरण डोळ्याने पाहीन रूप तुझे, पूरा बिठाएंगे तुम लोग को चेयर पे, चाय वाय पिलाएंगे, पैर दबाएंगे, सब करके देंगे। एसबीआई में जाके बोलना अकाउंट खोलना है, बोलते यार क्यों खोल रहे हो, ऑलरेडी जितने हैं उतने काफी है, बंद करना है तो बोलो। कल्चर इज डिफरेंट। और मैं ब्लेम नहीं करता एसबीआई को, इट इज ऑल एन आउटकम, इट इज ऑलवेज एन आउटकम ऑफ द वर्क प्रेशर। मैं जब सारस्वत बैंक, मेरा अकाउंट सारस्वत बैंक में, ओके, तो बीच में मुझे प्रॉपर्टी लेनी थी तो मैंने ना एक ह्यूज अमाउंट विड्रॉ किया। दे आस्क्ड मी, the one who was a signing authority, she called me up and she asked me, why are you withdrawing so much of funds? Now, there are two things. You can get offended. तेरे को क्या है, तेरे बाप का पैसा है, मेरा पैसा है, मैं जब चाहे निकालू। दिस इज वन कैटेगरी। एंड सेकेंड इज कि नहीं यार, इट्स लाइक अ फैमिली, इतना पैसा क्यों निकाल रहे हो, नहीं घर लेना है तो लोन लिया क्या है, हमसे ले लो। देयर इज अ बिजनेस एंगल टू इट, or it's just a concern, since you are having account in that bank since last 20 years, you have a good relation with those people, out of concern they are asking you. So that is style, that is culture of the organization. Then you have staff. Staff is the brain capital, which is also known as intellect capital, intellect capital of the business. तो हॉस्पिटल का देखो क्लासिफिकेशन दिया है, डॉक्टर, नर्स, टेक्नीशियन, सपोर्ट स्टाफ। कोचिंग क्लास का भी होता है, प्रोफेसर्स, एडमिन स्टाफ, ऑफिस बॉयज होगा, और प्लस मार्केटिंग टीम, ये भी होगा। देन यू हैव स्किल्स, identifying and getting an insight on the core competency of the organization. Analyze the skill gap, fill it. Now, if you have non-value added activities to be done, or you have non-core skill activities to be done, you can outsource the work. देखो मतलब क्या है, अब कुछ 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 और नर्सिंग होम्स में, कुछ हॉस्पिटल्स में एमआरआई स्कैन वगैरह की सुविधा नहीं होती, तो दे सी वो मशीन से ही करना है ना, तो मशीन का खर्चा मैं क्यों पालू, मैं बोल दूंगा ये टेस्ट करके लाओ, कस्टमर टेस्ट करके लेके आएगा। आउटसोर्सिंग, आई एम नॉट लुकिंग इनटू इट। shared values, shared values means these are the values of the organization that transfers through horizontal and vertical segment. These are guiding beliefs of people of the organization as to why it exists. Hospital, to save life. Airline company, to take people from one place to another. Coaching class, to help students clearing exams. School, to develop students. Police station, to control crime. Theater, entertainment. So why do you exist? If you know that, you will never go wrong. So that was about your 7S. Read the next part, have a glance on it. Effective use of 7S framework for business integration. स्टेप नंबर 1 2 3 4 पढ़ लो एक बार. चलो, the next part. Influence of organization structure, culture, and strategy on performance measurement. Now, see, when you talk about performance measurement, some organization may have a profitability as a parameter of performance evaluation. Some organizations may have growth as a parameter of performance evaluation. Some organizations may have customer base, wider customer base as a parameter of performance evaluation. So each organization will have a different parameter, different ways of evaluating the performance measurement. Like अगर मैं influence की बात करूं तो structural influence matter करता है. जैसे लाइन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हो, तेरे को जो बोला उतना कर, बात खत्म. लेकिन डिविजनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है तो I have a right to take decision for my own department. I can take the decision because I'm the entrepreneur of my own department. I'm the entrepreneur of my own department. If it is a line organization, my strategies will be different. If it is a divisional organization, a functional organization, my activities will be different. Line organization is what? Mainly just follow what I said. And functional is I'm doing this, just make a note of it. So, influence of the structure. functional and divisionally. See the arrow. See the arrow. Functional control and centralized control. And decentralized control structure, everyone is free to take their own decision, just achieve your given objective. अब कल्चर अगर होगा बीच में आएगा, कल्चर अगर बीच में आएगा तो different innovative and creative culture must be inculcated within the organization. और अगर वो already exist करता है तो it will be informed to the management, it will be informed we can do these things, we can apply these techniques and all that. Like, see, an innovative and creative culture will introduce new performance measurement techniques that measures the performance of innovation, whereas resistive, transitional, bureaucratic culture will be less open to change the measurement of performance. आपने अपने सबऑर्डिनेट्स में वो कल्चरल इम्प्लांट कर दिया या इंस्टिल कर दिया है. Okay, you have already instilled all your cultural values of your organization among the workers. जब बंदा ज्वाइन करता है उसको बोलने का, देख मेरे लिए मेरा स्टूडेंट सब कुछ है, कल को तेरी अगर कंप्लेंट आई तो मैं तुझे रिप्लेस करूंगा, बिकॉज मेरे लिए कस्टमर इज अ डिसाइडिंग फैक्टर. तो बेसिकली यू टेक केयर that there should not be a complaint. So that is a culture I have. Okay, I am going to be I will be student oriented. जैसे प्राइवेट बैंकिंग में प्रेशर होता है, कस्टमर इज गॉड, नॉट द स्टाफ. Remotely they will always support the staff, but then customers grievances will be taken care of. गवर्नमेंट बैंक में जाओ, यूको बैंक, पंजाब सिंध बैंक, कस्टमर इज गॉड. ओ माय गॉड, व्हाट इज कस्टमर? कस्टमर वो बंदा है जो उनको बीच में आके डिस्टर्ब करता है ऑफिस आवर्स में. 9 से 3 बजे तक का ब्रांच का टाइमिंग है. कौन घड़ी घड़ी आता रहे, कितने लोग आते हैं, कौन आ रहे हैं ये लोग, क्यों आ रहे हैं, कैश निकालनी है, बैठो फॉर्म भर के दो. The strategy is different. So the culture that you inculcate within the organization, that will give you the result. अब फ्री कल्चर है, स्टूडेंट ओरिएंटेड कल्चर है, और अगर मैंने कोई आइडिया, थॉट प्रोसेस डिसाइड किया, आई विल फ्री टू कन्वे टू माय सुपीरियर एंड इट मे गेट सैंक्शन. सर मैं ऐसा करूं क्या, मैं थोड़ा सा एक टेस्ट कंडक्ट कर लेता हूं बच्चों के लिए, दे विल बी हैप्पी. एक दिन ना मैं लेक्चर नहीं लेता, एक दिन मैं सिर्फ टेस्ट कंडक्ट करता हूं, उनको पेपर के बारे में बताता हूं, लास्ट 5 अटेम्प्ट का एक पेपर डिस्कस कर लेता हूं. हाँ ठीक है कर. When I know the culture, I can take my decision on my own. अच्छा, मैं अगर स्टेट बैंक में काम करता हूँ या पंजाब सिंध बैंक में काम करता हूँ या मैं यूको बैंक में काम करता हूँ, साला मेरे कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है काम करने का, तो मैं ऊपर क्या आइडियाज देगा. 9 से 3 का मेरा शिफ्ट है, 3 बजे अगर बंदा आया तो मैं वापस भेज देगा ये बोल के कि बैंक टाइम खत्म हुआ है बैंक का. HDFC वाले ऐसा नहीं करते, एक्सिस बैंक वाले ऐसा नहीं करते, कोटक बैंक वाले ऐसा नहीं करते, ICICI ऐसा नहीं करते, बिकॉज दे वैल्यू द रिलेशनशिप. इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ स्ट्रेटेजीज, व्हाट अगेन, कौन सा टेक्निक यूज कर रहे हो, क्या यूज कर रहे हो. जैसे कॉम्प्लेक्स स्ट्रेटेजी है तो आपका आउटकम भी अलग होगा. तो लेट्स हैव अ बेसिक डिस्कशन अबाउट कॉम्प्लेक्स बिजनेस स्ट्रक्चर्स. व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय कॉम्प्लेक्स बिजनेस स्ट्रक्चर्स? As such, there is no definition, but something which is not simplified is a complex structure. सबसे पहले डाइल्यूटेड कंट्रोल. अब डाइल्यूटेड कंट्रोल है मतलब मुझे 10 लोगों की परमिशन लेनी पड़ेगी. परचेस किसी और ने किया है, प्रोक्योर किसी और ने किया है, स्टोर कहीं और किया है, ट्रांसपोर्ट कोई और करेगा, उसके बाद मुझे माल मिलेगा. It will take time, which is a wastage. Shared objectives, pooled resources. Pooled resources means I don't have a specific resource and I am accumulating various different resources and I'm putting them together just to execute something. जैसे कंस्ट्रक्शन साइट पे होता है, मैं छोटा बिल्डर हूँ तो मैं सीमेंट का प्लांट थोड़ी लगाऊंगा. आई विल बाय रेडीमेड सीमेंट. रेडीमेड सीमेंट आएगा, डाल देंगे, मेरा काम हो गया. आउटसोर्सिंग सॉर्ट ऑफ थिंग्स. Connected virtually, yes, all these people are connected, so that is a real concern. Collaboration of different cultures and interests and diverse business organization. देखो, Ola, Uber, OLX, these are virtual. Amazon and Flipkart are virtual. So they will also be considered as complex business structure. No physical premises, but employees hai, managers hai, who are working remotely on their workstation with their workstation. जैसे नहीं होता वो आपके अकाउंट को हैक कर लिया, पैसा चोरी कर लिया, या कोई फाइनेंशियल फ्रॉड होता है, तो इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू ट्रेस देम बिकॉज दे डोंट हैव अ रजिस्टर्ड ऑफिस. बंदा दुनिया के किस कोने में बैठा रहेगा, लैपटॉप लेके कर दिया. सो कॉम्प्लेक्स बिजनेस स्ट्रक्चर्स में क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम्स है? सी, द मेजर प्रॉब्लम फेस्ड इज प्लानिंग, कंट्रोलिंग एंड मेजरिंग परफॉर्मेंस. जब कोई स्पेसिफिक बिजनेस स्ट्रक्चर ही नहीं है, कॉम्प्लेक्स स्ट्रक्चर है, तो दीज थ्री, प्लानिंग, कंट्रोलिंग एंड मेजरिंग परफॉर्मेंस, आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट aspects. So there are a number of problems in planning, controlling and measuring performance in these complex structures. The root causes of generic problems are highlighted below. What are the root causes? Establishing objective. Now see, if you are a complex organization, you will face problem of goal congruence. Goal congruence means you as a manager and you and your company both will have the same goal. So you both work in the same manner. So it's a double engine. Your organization has one goal and you have another goal. You will go in a different direction. That will create hindrance, obstacles in the growth of the organization. So goal congruence means all are working in the same direction. Which direction? Company's goal, company's betterment. Then the approaches and attitude in terms of quality, control and risk. Then accountability, lack of trust, cultural conflicts, share values. Some people may prefer something, some people may not prefer. In case of strategic alliance it is basically an arrangement for mutually beneficial project, while each retains its independence. Joint venture types. It's a strategic alliance. Each, since its independence is retained, hence making it difficult to put common performance measures in the place. See, now you are your own company, I am my own company. We are simply working together to achieve something. Now, your culture can be different, my culture can be different. Your culture can be different, my culture can be different. If the cultures are different, performance evaluation on a common basis cannot be done. Then joint venture. Come together for profit and sharing the risk. Now, if it is a separate entity, it is joint venture, otherwise it is strategic alliance. Joint ventures are different types: project-based, vertical, horizontal, functional. If you have that type of joint venture, the accountability of performance on joint venture can be done in the lights of distribution of resources and work. Like I'll give you example. Horizontal means same designation, two people working together. Same designation and two different people working together. Like two builders coming together for one project, they will form a separate entity, that is joint venture. Vertical is a builder has one project and that project requires some materials, cement and all that. So I enter into a joint venture with the supplier who's going to supply the entire material required for the construction work. This is vertical. तो टाइल सप्लायर मतलब एक बंदा है जो मुझे टाइल, टैप्स, पाइपलाइन फिटिंग्स, सीमेंट सब सप्लाई करके देगा. आई विल हैव अ टाई अप विद दैट फेलो. लेट्स शेयर इट. प्रॉफिट शेयरिंग डिसाइड होगा. विल फॉर्म अ डिफरेंट कंपनी. ना उसका ऑब्जेक्टिव अलग है, मेरा अलग है. उसका ऑपरेशंस अलग है, मेरा अलग है. ही इज इनटू ट्रेडिंग, आई एम इनटू कंस्ट्रक्शन, बट वी कम टुगेदर फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर प्रोजेक्ट. So horizontal, vertical, I hope you understood what these things mean now. In case of multinationals, ये पढ़ लो ना आगे का 3. Read next 3. Multinationals, complex supply chain and virtual organization. पढ़ लो, repetition ही मिलेगा ज्यादातर. Go through that. also as independent entities. Yeah, absolutely. See, complex supply chain is a different concept which can be in existence with all different formats. Even if you have, see, only if you have an autocratic way of doing the work, if you have autocratic way of doing the work, just like, for example, if there is a sole proprietor who is taking the whole and sole decision, there is no complexity. But where two or more than two people associate with each other, within the organization, outside the organization, complexity starts. Okay, so if you have a strategic alliance with, like, the Coffee with Karan has a strategic alliance with Jaguar, right? So basically, Dharma Production or whoever the producer has a direct in strategic alliance with Jaguar. But Jaguar, it's just a promotional activity for Jaguar. Jaguar will not take the responsibility of the controversies which are created on those couch. Thought process is different. Jaguar wants to promote their product, lights. This guy wants something else. He wants TRP. He wants his existence to be shown in the industry, and channel wants TRP. So that is how the strategic alliance is being done. So if it has a complex version, तीनों का focus अलग है यार. Karan Johar का focus अलग होगा. He's not concerned with the TRP. He's concerned with the appearance. Channel is not concerned with lights. Channel is concerned with TRP. And Jaguar is interested in only one thing. कि एक शो में करण जौहर ने कितनी बार नाम लिया आपने. That is why when they say that the rapid fire round starts, he says no, now Jaguar lights will on and all that. वो जो बोलता है, वो जो भी करता है. What is it? If three people are coming together, channel, brand, Karan Johar or Dharma Production and Jaguar, each one of them has a different objective. That is complex environment. Arnav, is this clear, beta? Chalo. Let's move ahead with some behavioral aspects. See, as specified earlier in section B of this chapter, human resource is the deciding factor that make an organization different and better from the rest. Since organization's performance as a whole is sum of people's performance who are working it, hence it is important to consider their behavior aspect of human in the performance management system and impact of the same on strategic decisions pertaining to performance measurement and evaluation thereof. How humans are evaluated. Behavioral aspects are one among 7 human attributes for the life will encompasses. Now, 7 human attributes are self-respect, self-aspect, behavioral aspect. Self means the characteristic of a human, then behavior, then social, his educational background, his skill, intelligence, physical, emotional, mental and spiritual. तो उसमें से एक ही हमको कंसिडर करना है, सिर्फ बिहेवियरल. बाकी उसके स्पिरिचुअल और मेंटल से हमको कोई लेना देना नहीं है. वी आर जस्ट कंसर्न अबाउट बिहेवियरल. When humans are made accountable for his or her action, then they become more conscious and strive for better performance. खुद ही का एग्जांपल ले लो. टेस्ट सीरीज कैसे देते हो और फाइनल एग्जाम कैसे देते हो? योर एफर्ट्स आर डिफरेंट. Am I right? You going on an audit as a junior and you going on an audit as a senior, approach is different. Why? Because you will be held responsible for what you have done. So hard accountability involves consideration of financial and qualitative information and covers aspects such as converting activities and outcome into numbers. Purely on the basis of number game. 15 लाख का प्रॉफिट चाहिए, 15 दिन में ऑडिट खत्म करके चाहिए, 60 आवर्स में सिलेबस खत्म चाहिए. Soft accountability is it considers consideration of human input to the system and its role of shaping, evaluating, implementing goals. It's like taking their opinion about sir 60 hours में possible नहीं है, sir 15 दिन में possible नहीं है. At least you will be given right to say. So accountability and control. Management control system have an important role to play in developing the accountability, and in turn accountability leads to better performance. See, I cannot every time get the result out of by putting you in the pressure. Sometimes I have to give you a free hand to perform your own task. So behavioral control, personal and cultural control. See, I told you, no, you are free to apply your own skills and your own skills and methodologies. Reporting control, to control the collection and reporting of information pertaining to the performance. The next one is performance measures. Next one is performance measures in terms of critical success factors and key performance indicators. Okay, since people are conscious towards the activities wherein their performance is being measured, especially if they know after being measured their performance, their performance will be evaluated also. Hence, it will be clearly communicated performance measures such as it acts as stimuli. Stimuli means a force that either promote or prevent people from doing the particular act. Stimuli that mend the way people behave. So अगर मुझे पता है कि मेरा इवैल्यूएशन अच्छा आने के बाद मुझे प्रमोशन मिलेगा, that acts as a stimuli. अगर मुझे पता है कि मेरा प्रमोशन मिलने के बाद मुझे सडनली मुंबई से गुवाहाटी ट्रांसफर किया जाएगा, तो that will also act as a stimuli. नहीं चाहिए प्रमोशन. I told you, where human is involved, there is no rational thought process. प्रमोशन मिला तो कुछ लोग खुश होते हैं, प्रमोशन मिलने पे कुछ लोग अपनी अपनी रिक्वायरमेंट होती है, तो नाउ दे आर नॉट हैप्पी. भाई मेरे को प्रमोशन लेके, मुझे को बिना प्रमोशन लेके मुंबई में रहना है, 4 पैसा कम मिले चलेगा. आई डोंट वांट टू गो टू गुवाहाटी, आई डोंट वांट टू गो टू आसाम, आई डोंट वांट टू गो टू मिजोरम फॉर 3 years. जनरली बैंक, नेशनल बैंक, जो नेशनलाइज बैंक होते हैं उनके एम्प्लॉयज के साथ होता है. देन यू हैव मैनेजमेंट स्टाइल्स एंड कल्चर्स. एक बार ये पढ़ लो. The first part, this part, point number 3, management styles and cultural modification. What is non-accounting style of business management? Where is it? Can you please tell me the page number, Moksha? Point number 3. Non-accounting style of business management. Non-accounting style of business management means you're not holding anyone responsible. ये वाला ना? The maturity and growth phase are referred to here as stages of business and product life cycle. Further, students are advised to refer Hopwood's 3 distinct management styles: budget constraint style, profit conscious style, and non-accounting style. Non-accounting style, if you talk about non-accounting, means all other aspects other than accounts, other than financial aspects, will be taken care of. It can be social, it can be environmental, it can be related to your training and improving the quality of the staff and all that. At which stage would this be applicable, as cost conscious are used in maturity and profit conscious stage? Majorly growth stages, so that you can prolong your maturity. Even in maturity stage, it is needed because you want to prolong your decline stage. So your objective at the time of growth stage and your objective at the time of maturity can be different. When you're growing, you're simply thinking about profit, and once you have attained a growth stage, once you have reached the top, now you suddenly start feeling that you're supposed to do something for your employees, you're supposed to do something for the environment, you're supposed to do something for the society, and then you change the form. And then suddenly, by the time you are entering into maturity phase, your objectives are different now. So you will evaluate yourself on all grounds: social grounds, environmental grounds, training grounds, internal development grounds, and profitability. समझा रहा हूं? Yeah. Predicting and preventing corporate failure. Around 90% of Fortune 500 firms that were in full spark to be a part of elite bunch of 1955 are replaced. They gone either bankrupt. ये तो तुम लोग ने पढ़ा होगा ना, फोर्ब्स का जो रिसेंट फोर्ब्स का रिसेंट लिस्ट आया, द वर्स्ट 30s करके. पहले एक लिस्ट आया था 30 मतलब जिन्होंने 30 बिलियन नेटवर्थ क्रॉस किया है इन 30s. अब इसमें से काफी लोग बैंकरप्ट हो गए विद इन 10 years 15 years. सो हॉल ऑफ शेम करके निकाला इन लोगों ने. आर यू अवेयर ऑफ इट? तो 90% of the firms will have a different reason. Why? Why do companies fail? Innovation, we fail to innovate and adapt to change. Change no किया तो no किया. हिंदुस्तान मोटर्स। बॉस, कोलगेट जैसे मल्टीनेशनल ब्रांड को भी हर्बल टूथपेस्ट लाना पड़ा. दैट इज अ चेंज दे हैव टू अडॉप्ट. So those who don't innovate, those who don't change, they perish. Too much of hostile business environment, which is beyond control. Then too many changes or restructuring in the business. क्या होता है? If you keep on changing the business structure, UPI, there were so many people who were not ready to accept it. पहले क्या होता था? तूने 98 का माल खरीदा तो तेरे को 2 रुपए की टॉफी मिलती थी. अभी तो 98 का अभी तो 98 का पेमेंट कर सकता है. ओके. Financial misappropriations, power tussle in promoter group, or inefficiency of management, and failure of strategy and strategic decisions. You already know these reasons basically. There is nothing new about it. Need of predicting the corporate failure. The survival is essential to perform and then sustain the same level of performance or keep growing. Hence, the need to eliminate the threat of failure is inevitable. Therefore, predicting the possibility of corporate failure is of a strategic significance. Now, there are two types of failures. One is quantitative and the other one is qualitative. Qualitative failure, quantitative failure. Quantitative, when you talk about, it has ratios and values and amounts and all that, financial terms. That is quantitative. And qualitative, when you talk about, it's about risk factor. I'll explain both. First, we'll go for quantitative. अच्छा, क्वांटिटेटिव में ना इन लोगों ने कुछ मॉडल्स दिए है, ऐसे का ऐसे हम लोगों को यूज करना है, अपना दिमाग लगाने का नहीं. अल्टमैन जेड स्कोर. अल्टमैन जेड स्कोर के हिसाब से you're supposed to calculate your answer in this manner: 1.2x1, 1.4x2, 3.3x3, 0.6x4, 1x5. अब ये x1 x2 क्या है? x1 is working capital, x2 is retained earnings, earning before interest and tax, market value of liabilities, and sales. And if you don't want to go for sales, you can take total assets also as a base. अच्छा, ये जो आपको 1.2, 1.4, 3.3, 6.6 and 1 क्यों है? ये एडवर्ड अल्टमैन ने क्यों ऐसा डिसाइड किया? ये राज भी उन्हीं के साथ दफन हो गया. Okay, there is no logical calculation available. तो ऐसे का ऐसा ही अप्लाई करना है आपको. 1.2, 1.4, 3.3, 0.6 and 1. Now, if the answer is less than 1.1, you are quite close. You are completely into zone. If the ratio is this, if your score falls in this, you are quite close. And if your score is more than 2.99, you're safe. Example लेते चलो. Numerical application of Altman Z score model. The company says the Sigma Cast and Pig Molder Limited have been in the business of molding cast and pig irons for more than a decade. SC and PM is listed on a national stock exchange and the market value of equity is 700 crores. So 7,000 crores. The total assets are 3,500 crores. They have a working capital of 4,200 crores. Before interest and tax charge is this, and revenue is sales is 8,300. Simply apply these figures and get the answer. Working capital is the first one. Retained earnings, earning before interest and tax. Market value of equity. And sales. Everything will be divided by total assets. That will give you some proportion, which will be applied on 1.2, 1.4, 3.3, 0.6, 1. So, अपना total asset कितना दिया है? So, you have five calculations. In all five, 3,500 will be your denominator. देखो, पांचों केस में 3,500 is the denominator. सिवाय एक, सॉरी 4 के, सिवाय एक के, इधर liability आएगा. Now the reason behind this is, देखो, X1 क्या डिसाइड करता है कि भाई आपके टोटल एसेट्स में से वर्किंग कैपिटल कितना है. दैट शोज द लिक्विडिटी. मैं इसका फॉर्मूला का रीजन बता रहा हूं, ध्यान से सुनना. वर्किंग कैपिटल डिवाइड बाय टोटल एसेट करते हो. टोटल एसेट्स 100 है, 100 crores. वर्किंग कैपिटल इज 60 crores. सो लिक्विडिटी ज्यादा है. टोटल एसेट्स अपॉन रिटर्न अर्निंग्स, प्रॉफिट परसेंटेज, इट्स लाइक ROI. अच्छा, अर्निंग बिफोर इंटरेस्ट अपॉन टोटल एसेट्स, sorry, ROI नहीं. Return earnings means your reserve and surplus. So the current existing profit the company has. Then you have ROI. ये current profit divided by your total assets. अच्छा, अब आपका इक्विटी कैपिटल कितना है? मार्केट वैल्यू डिवाइडेड बाय टोटल लायबिलिटीज. मतलब अगर लायबिलिटी पे ऑफ करना पड़े तो डू यू हैव सफिशिएंट कवरेज अवेलेबल? एंड फाइनली सेल्स टर्नओवर रेशियो टाइप्स लास्ट कैलकुलेशन. चेक करो कैलकुलेशन. ये check the entire calculation, guys. Priyank, these are predetermined rates which will give you answers in these three categories. अगर आपका आंसर फर्स्ट कैटेगरी में आता है which is less than 1.1, that means you are already into distress. You're मतलब जो तुम लोग ये ढूंढ रहे थे फेल्योर वाला पार्ट, योर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज फेल्ड. अगर आपकी रेंज 1.81 से 2.99 है तो यू आर ऑलमोस्ट ऑन द वर्ज ऑफ गेटिंग फेल्ड, सो यू नीड फर्दर इन्वेस्टिगेशन. एंड अगर 2.99 से हो तो यू आर सेफ. सो सेफ्टी मार्जिन प्रोवाइड करता है ये सारा कैलकुलेशन. एज आई टोल्ड यू, योर फर्स्ट कैलकुलेशन टेल्स यू द लिक्विडिटी पार्ट, सेकेंड कैलकुलेशन टेल्स यू द रिजर्व पार्ट. लिक्विडिटी बेटर है, रिजर्व बेटर है, ROI बेटर है, enough market value you have to cover up the liability, and then sales as compared to total assets. All these things are compared. Now 1.2, 1.4, 3.3, 0.6 and 1, ये क्यों अप्लाई किया इसके पीछे कोई रीजन नहीं है, but it will be a standard application. Is that clear? लॉजिक इन नंबर्स में नहीं है प्रियंक, लॉजिक मैंने बताया इसमें है. नो, मेमोराइज करना पड़ेगा. मेमोराइज करना पड़ेगा. Priyank, is this clear? प्रियंक गायब हो गया. The second one is Beaver's univariate model. He was the first one to apply a statistical method to predict bankruptcy for a pair matched sample of firms. Beaver's univariate model is a simple one because he evaluated the importance of each of the several accounting ratios. So it was based on accounting ratios. समझ में आया? There is no predetermined formula. Beaver focuses on accounting ratio. Tafler and Tishaw model. Tafler and Tishaw. It's a combination of four ratios. It's a combination of four ratios. Now, Altman and Tafler developed their model further to overcome the weakness and shortcoming it possesses. So, मतलब ये जो form किया था, it is not followed these days. It was based on four ratios using a similar methodology जो ऑल्टर ने यूज की थी, हम लोगों ने इसके पहले देखा था वो. Altman addressed the problem of the assumption regarding the normal distribution of ratios in the zeta model, whereas Tafler then adopted the Z-score technique to develop a performance analysis score. Now, what is zeta model? Zeta model is a bankruptcy classification model which incorporates comprehensive input with respect to discriminant analysis and utilizes a sample of bankrupt firms, essentially covering the period of 69 to 75. They have not specified any formula. The formula comes later on for Z score for private firms. जैसे ये तुम लोग का था कंपनीज के लिए. Manufacturing firms. वैसे ये private firms, non-manufacturing, emerging markets. Pair match sample firms means comparative analysis, beta. You consider two firms together and do the comparative analysis. देखो उसका हम लोग नहीं कंसीडर करते. अरे यार इस बार रिजल्ट ही खराब लगा है तो अपना फेल होना जस्टिफाइड है. दिस इज पेयर मैच सैंपल एनालिसिस. अब रिजल्ट खराब लगा, वो फेल हो गया, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि सारे लोग फेल हो गए मतलब तू भी फेल होना चाहिए. तू मतलब मैं अर्णव तेरी बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. आई एम जस्ट टॉकिंग इन जनरल. बट हाउ डू वी डिफेंड आवरसेल्व्स? अरे यार रिजल्ट खराब ही आया, सब लोग फेल हो गए, तेरा मैं भी फेल हो गया. ओके, सो दैट इज हाउ यू आर जस्टिफाइंग इट. सो इधर पेयर मैच सैंपल. अच्छा, ऑल्टमैन का दूसरा रूल, दूसरा फॉर्मूला, वापस वही भयंकर फॉर्मूलास के साथ. बट इस बार X4 देखो, X4 they have not considered market value, they have considered book value. ये आपको याद ही रखना पड़ेगा, दूसरा कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है आपके पास. ये पढ़ लो और उसका आगे का इलस्ट्रेशन भी देख लो. ये पूरा डेटा पढ़ लेना पेज नंबर 38 तक. एक्सप्लेन तो मैंने लॉजिक कर लिया है. वाई वर्किंग कैपिटल, वाई दिस. Yeah, there is no publicly listed company, no. So market value लेके क्या फायदा है? So book value. Take 5-10 minutes and read this. हाँ पार्थ बोल बेटा. हाँ, there will be 2-3 different formulas for each and every category. Are done? No credit interval. ओके, नो क्रेडिट इंटरवल मींस ओके, सबसे पहले तो इंटरवल रेशियो पता है क्या होता है? इंटरवल रेशियो मींस यू डिवाइड योर लिक्विड फंड्स, ये वाला जो आपने किया था, बाय योर डेली एक्सपेंसेस. मतलब आपका, आपके पास 10 लाख रुपए का वर्किंग कैपिटल है. यू हैव अ वर्किंग कैपिटल ऑफ 10 lakhs. आपका दिन का खर्चा 1000 रुपया है, तो 10 लाख डिवाइडेड बाय 1000. 1000 days तक यू कैन सर्वाइव. या दैट इज व्हाट योर क्रेडिट इंटरवल इज. फिर इसमें क्रेडिट पीरियड भी व्हेन यू कंसीडर, इट इज फर्दर मोर. कैश तो मुझे आज का आज पे करना है. क्रेडिट पीरियड अगर 2 महीने का है तो इवन दैट विल एनहांस माई रेशियो. हाँ प्रिया, तेरा डाउट बोला ना, मैंने सॉल्व कर तो दिया. फॉर ईच मैन्युफैक्चरर, for each entity there is a different score. Like this is for non-manufacturer trader, this is for emerging markets, and the last one is for परफॉर्मेंस एनालिसिस को. यही था ना प्रिया? सी, वो जो 6.56 3.25 है उसका कोई मतलब नहीं है. दीज आर ऑल प्री डिटरमाइंड रूल्स. Probably they must have used some actuary science, they must have used some annuity value and all that. There is no base available. मैंने आपको रीजन बता दिया, x1 x2 x3 x4 क्यों है वो बता दिया. प्रिया, is this done? प्रिया, shall I proceed? चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. H score model. The model is developed by Company Watch. It is similar to Tapler's performance analysis score. H score is basically a ranked percentile. It's a ranked percentile score taking a value between 0 to 100. The threshold is kept at a score of 25, meaning that companies will lower percentile with lower percentile are in a warning area. They have some criteria. On the basis of criteria, see, they have not given us those criterias, but on the basis of those criterias, they decide. On the basis of those criterias, they decide the point systems. And if the points are less than 25, 25 percentile. Now it is not percentage, guys, it is percentile. So basically, if there are 10 different parameters, first parameter will be considered as 100, the second one will be compared with the earlier one. So it is not percentage, it is percentile. So agar aapka score 25 percentile se bhi kam hai, that means you are in a warning area. Now, these are largely based upon financial numbers which can be manipulated. The trends to have the short-term orientation and able to forecast the near future only. Matlab, this can be applied for short-term calculation. Even scores estimated to predict the corporate failure is only a snapshot. Neither highlight the root cause nor the solution. मतलब क्या है, तुम लोग को जो स्कोर मिलता है, देखो इसमें ना स्कोर जब ढूंढोगे तो डायरेक्ट वो 25 से मोर या 25 से लेस आएगा. That tells you that you're in a warning area, but that doesn't tell you why are you in a warning area. आप ये अगर कंसिडर करोगे, X1, X2, X3, X4. X1 has something to do with working capital. X2 is about retained earnings. X3 is about profit before interest and tax. And X4 was about market value in terms of manufacturer and book value in terms of non-manufacturer. मुझे पता है एग्जैक्टली कहाँ पे क्या गलत गया है, लेकिन यहाँ पे 25 परसेंटाइल निकलने के बाद हमको कहाँ से समझेगा एग्जैक्टली व्हाट हैज गॉन रॉन्ग. एंड दीज मॉडल्स यूजिंग वेट्स to arrive at score based on which the possibility of corporate failure will be predicted. Undoubtedly, using predefined weights has its own inherent limitation. ये अब weights इन्होंने assign किए 5.36, 1.3 जो उनको उन्होंने apply किया है, हम लोग follow कर रहे हैं. But what is the guarantee that this is right? So after quantitative methods, there are qualitative methods to be discussed. Qualitative methods focuses on the defects and the mistakes which are not rectified and the reasons for failure. Like Argenti's A score is the first system which has 3 dimensions. One is defect, the other one is mistakes, and the third one is symptoms of failure. Like you have defects. What defects you have? You have management defect or accounting defect. Faulty organizational structure, an autocratic chief executive or chairman of the company. Accounting defects means lack of control strategy, lack of budgetary control. Then you don't have proper monitoring system. Then what is a mistake? Mistake will occur over time as a result of defects. Defects and mistakes are interconnected. Like management and accounting system is weak, then mistakes are bound to happen. And mistake includes high gearing, over trading, and failure of big projects. Now, if you have if you have autocratic way of handling things, you will not be accepting opinions of others. You will not be focusing on opinions of others. You are bound to lose something. You are bound to lose the information the right information that was coming your way. You are bound to lose your information source. Since you're not listening to anyone, why would people come and tell you? And due to this, you may end up taking a wrong decision about accepting a proposal. Symptoms of failure surely be there if mistakes are identified above are of a continuing nature. Defect है तो mistake होगा, और mistake अगर सुधारा नहीं तो it will be a failure. देखो, मैनेजमेंट डिफेक्ट्स, ऑटोक्रेटिक चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव, chairman, passive board of directors, unbalanced board of directors, not representing all functions. So सबके लिए उन्होंने एक एक पॉइंट दे रखा है, सबके लिए एक एक पॉइंट दे रखा है. ग्रुप बी, मैनेजमेंट मिस्टेक्स. अब ये अगर ग्रुप ए आपके साथ होता है तो उसके रिपरकशंस क्या है? हाई गियरिंग, देन ओवर ट्रेडिंग, ओवर एक्सपांशन, you may also take a decision regarding big projects. Natija, financial analysis, financial ratios will indicate the consequence. Misrepresentation will happen in terms of accountancy. Since your organization is sinking, you people, accounting people may tend to give the wrong information, portray or wrong information, or go for window display in terms of accounting information. All financial signs of problem: unclean and untidy offices at factory, high staff turnover, low morale, rumors, and so on. Once organization starts declining, this is what we face. Unclean, untidy, staff turnover, low morale, rumors, सब कुछ. So all these are 100 points. अब इसमें से क्या क्या आता है देख लो. अगर तुम लोग 25 परसेंटाइल से कम हो तो यू आर इन अ डेंजरस सिचुएशन. जैसे ये एग्जांपल चेक कर लो. डिफेक्ट्स 10, मिस्टेक्स, और ये 25 है मतलब हेल्दी है. सेवनटीन, 29, ये देखो 25 मतलब सिर्फ क्या है? ये सारे प्रॉब्लम्स है, ये सारे पॉइंट्स प्रॉब्लम्स के. तो सारे पॉइंट्स अगर प्रॉब्लम्स के है तो मिनिमम द बेटर ना. तो 25 एंड लेस विल ऑलवेज बी कंसिडर्ड टू बी risk. 25 and less can be considered to be risky if you are talking about mistakes. जैसे यहाँ पे 10, 15, ओवरऑल स्कोर 25, हेल्दी. यहाँ पे ओवरऑल स्कोर 17 है, सिस्टम ऑफ ट्रबल नहीं दिख रहा है, स्टिल दे आर कंसिडरिंग इट एज हेल्दी. यहाँ पे डिफेक्ट्स 10 है, मिस्टेक्स 15 है, ट्रबल 4 दिख रहा है, एंड यू हैव क्रॉस 29, सो दैट इज व्हाई इट इज रिस्की. नेक्स्ट इज ना डिफेक्ट का सिम्टम है ना मिस्टेक का है, फिर भी तुम लोग ट्रबल में हो, दैट मीन्स इट इज रिस्की. डिफेक्ट्स 15 बट मिस्टेक एक भी नहीं हुई, पर मिस्टेक हो सकती है, सिम ट्रबल में आ सकते हो, दैट इज वाई रिस्की. मिस्टेक्स 30, ओवरऑल स्कोर 30, रिस्की है. Point 5, you have 15 defects within your organization. So you are exposed to the risk. आज तक गलती नहीं हुई इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि आगे नहीं होगी. That is why it is considered to be risky. It is all at the company's discretion, Priyank. इसका कोई हाथ पैर कोई लॉजिक नहीं है. Every company will have its own discretion. कुछ लोगों को 35% पे भी रिस्की लगता होगा, कुछ लोगों को 18% पे भी रिस्की नहीं लगता. That is their choice. That is what I said. So they will give you the criteria. Read this. The maximum score allotted is 100. 100 कैसे मिला आपको याद है? 43 mistake, 43 defects, 43 defects, 45 mistakes, 12 symptoms. 43, 45, 12. Now, the overall score must be less than the maximum acceptable score of 25, with 10 and 15 being the maximum acceptable score in Group A. ये देखो, इन्होंने यहाँ पे स्पेसिफाई किया है 10 and 15 being the maximum acceptable score in Group A for defects, and B. So defect के लिए 10, mistakes के लिए 15. A firm scores anything in Group C is immediately seen as an indicator. So a firm that scores more than 25 overall, even if it scores below the individual threshold of A and B, would be considered at risk. इसीलिए इसको रिस्की बना दिया और बाकियों को रिस्की इसलिए बना लिया क्योंकि देयर इज अ पोटेंशियल थ्रेट. But since there is no symptom of trouble, it is considered to be healthy. समझा? So it is all at your discretion. It is interpretation. So every company can have its own different interpretation. Are, is this clear? ये तुम लोग के स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग या मार्जिनल कॉस्टिंग जैसा नहीं है कि जिसमें मैं तुम लोग को लॉजिक दे सकूं. लॉजिक इसमें पॉसिबल था. व्हाट इज X1, व्हाट इज X2, व्हाट इज X3, व्हाट इज X4, इस सब में लॉजिक पॉसिबल था जो मैंने आपको दिया. Why it is working capital to be considered, why retain earnings, why earning value, why book value, कभी book value, कभी market value. Yes, definitely they will give you criteria. They will give you all the details. Arnav, don't worry about it. चलो. Now, what is the shortcoming of using qualitative models? देखो, subjectivity. The expert or user has to apply his or her judgment that leads to subjectivity in the result. यही तो कह रहा था ना मैं आपको कब से. It is at your discretion, and that is why you can't trust these models, because everyone will have a different perception. All those who are asking me how to remember this, what is the logic, I hope you got this answer. Are yes or no? Qualitative model, in addition to financial information, requires large amount of non-financial information, which is undoubtedly provide more holistic picture and reliable result. But obtaining non-financial information is not easy. Financial तो तुम लोग को मिल जाएगी, non-financial कहाँ से लाओगे? Financial तो तुम लोग को official website पे मिल जाएगी, non-financial कहाँ से लाओगे? Results are only as good as inputs to them. Since qualitative information is used, hence reliability. Since qualitative information is used, hence reliability of such information, and then their relevance upon the conversion into number is a critical affair. मतलब जैसे हम लोग ने यहाँ पे लिखा 43, 44, 45, कभी 25 हेल्दी है, कभी 25 से कम हेल्दी है, कभी 25 से कम रिस्की है. So you can't actually see 1 + 1 is not 2 here. That is the major concern. 1 + 1 is not 2 here. समझ में आया? So preventing corporate failure. Hey, वो पढ़ लो सिर्फ. Have a glance on this quickly. चलिए, let's go for MCQs. Are you there? McKinsey's 7S framework divided 7S into two sets of areas, soft and hard. The hard S are easy to quantify and measure. They have they're, you can say, contingent sort of thing, a tangible sort of thing. Hence, changes can be made to these easily by management with greater ease. Which of the following is not a hard S? Strategy is something concrete. Structure is something which is concrete. System is something which is concrete. Now, style cannot be considered as concrete one. So that is soft S. Got it? Next. Business integration brings all aspects of business in alignment so that business objectives can be achieved by effective implementation of strategies while making efficient use of available set of resources. There are 4 aspects that are essential to be integrated, namely people, operation, strategy, and what? It has to be technology. Tata Motors directed Tata Steels to deliver specific metal material for its upcoming e-vehicle, considering the design. Engineers from production and operation division of Tata Motors visited to Tata Steel to explain the needs. After deliberation, decided some of the process need to be performed in such metal. While in process, Tata Steel's planned only, even prior to bring Tata Motors plant, this has happened. One of the engineer of Tata Motors plays that Tata Steel is till such metal prepared and deliver to keep check at specification. So what is it? Value chain, value system, value specification, or value set? What is it? He has created a system. He has created a system where he's not taking care of only value change. He's also focusing on value specification as well as the quality assurance. So it is not a chain, or it is not only a specification. It is a whole and soul system which is working on that. MCQ number 4. MCQ number 4. The new appointed top brass at Jim Jam Limited gave local manager greater autonomy for decision making with an intent to improve the performance. In light of fact that company introduced a number of changes in the recent past. Because in past decisions are made at corporate level, local managers only execute them. And despite power wasted with local manager, they didn't exercise the authority. Resultantly, changes that were introduced mainly failed to create any yield or impact. Which of the following elements of McKinsey's 7S model best explains why change initiatives have been unsuccessful in the company? Shared value, strategy, structure, or systems? वो देख के पता चलता है. It has to be structure. We used to have a centralized structure which was suddenly decentralized. So it has to be the structure that has created a problem for us. MCQ number 5. Which of the following is not a limitation of complex business structure in measuring and evaluating performance? Which of the following is not a limitation of complex business structure? Lack of information, yes, it is a limitation. Disagreement on objective, yes, because it will not allow you to implement the goal. Cultural conflicts, yes. Legal aspect can be considered as an exception. Legal aspect का तो discussion ही नहीं किया ना हम लोगों ने. Legal aspect is something which is outside. We are talking about within the organization. So lack of information, disagreement, and cultural conflicts are basically limitations, are basically create limitation in terms of measuring and evaluating performance. Legal aspect का performance से कोई connection नहीं है. MCQ number 6. Which among the following is not a category of control mechanism? Behavioral control, reporting control, physical control, cultural. Cultural हो सकता है, reporting भी हो सकता है, behavioral हो सकता है. The only thing which is not possible is physical control. Physical control कैसे करोगे? See, पढ़ लिया? Seventh, based upon Z score, the companies are classified into different zone of discrimination. Which of the following is not a zone? वार्निंग थोड़ी देते हम लोग. याद है वो 3 जोन थे, डिस्ट्रेस, ग्रे एंड सेफ. Skyway Airline Limited, an international carrier, took series of loans from finance from M&A deals, but now observing a working capital crisis. CEO of SAL, in response to a question at recent press conference, reported that Z score of 1.6 assure the investors as well as stakeholders that things are under control. In which of the following zones you will place SAL? देखो, इन्होंने ZEL दिया हुआ है. Here they expect us to know everything, all 4 categories. अगर आपको चाहिए तो मैं कल आपको वापस एक बार एक ओवरव्यू दे दूंगा चारों सिस्टम्स का, and then we'll proceed with the next part. It's a limited company, so this is what they have specified. Okay, so we'll stop here now. बाकी का पार्ट कल कर लेंगे, and if you want, I can I'll just discuss all these case laws and all that related to this. ये डिटेल में डिस्कस करेंगे, and if you need any explanation on those methods, I will discuss those methods once again. Okay, just do one thing, have a glance on these methods and let me know if you need any explanation later on. Okay, बच्चा लोग, देखो उसमें कोई लॉजिकल इंटरप्रिटेशन है नहीं, हम लोग को ये रट्टा ही मारना पड़ेगा, कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है. क्लियर? अरे shall I proceed? प्रिया कब से पूछ रहा था आपके बारे में, तभी तो रिप्लाई किया नहीं आपने, क्योंकि क्वेरी वाज आंसर्ड. राइट? You had messaged, I had answered. After that, I asked you, is this solved? You did not bother to answer. Again, you are back. Okay, so it is answered. Okay. No problem. The balance part of this question will be done in the next session. Just have a glance on those methods. See you in the next session. Bye-bye.